Hello everyone. This lesson we're going to add the week up here. So I want to be able to add weeks. So now I've made some code so that now I can add week 2023 and say that's awesome work, and I'll press the add button and then it'll pop up here and it'll actually be sorted. So if I do a 21 and I do awesome work 2, I do add, you'll see that's below actually. So we're going to make this time because before we deploy this to live, it makes sense that we can start adding weeks. It makes it a lot more fun at least. So before we move on, I just want to show you, you have two choices this time. Either you do, either you do a git checkout and a version 0.2.1.3 or 4. So either 13 or 14. If you do the 13 one, you won't have the changes yet. If you do a 14 one, then you'll actually have the changes. So this will actually give you the full code that I'm showing you in a second. So it's up to you if you want to write the code while you watch the video, or if you want to follow along and just don't write any code yourself. We're only changing 2 classes, so it's not a huge deal what we're doing here. But there's a lot of code anyway. Okay, so I checked out 14 here, and I just want to show you first of all, how do we make this add area up here. So we need to make this area right here, this add area. And it's of course some beautiful Angular material we're using. And I'm actually wrapping this inside a form because I want to use the form for something. I want to use the form for actually checking validation so that I do not send anything back to the backend unless the form is validated, because I have a few validation fields and we already talked about those, so you can just go back to earlier videos if you want to see more on validation. That's up to you. So what do we do? Well, I have a list item just to make it shiny, and it has first it has one container, and that's actually the week, and we say we have it's required, and then it has a 1 to week 43, and I think that's how many weeks there are in the year. If I'm wrong, let me know. And then the model I use is new week plan dot week. Okay, so it's not the edit, it's not the normal week plan, it's actually a new guy that I want to save later. It's the type of number, and the name is something I use. Actually, I don't even use it here. Oh, here it is. Yes, of course. I use that to get the right error message for the form. So that's why I use the name right here. And then this is actually just a list of errors depending on what I do. We also saw that in earlier videos. The next container is this guy, and that's going to be the teaser. So I can add a teaser, and I have a max length of 100. We also talked about that last video. And then I have the add button. Now when I press the add button, I'm actually going to hit a function called add week plan, and I'm going to send, notice this, I'm going to send the new plan form, this guy, over to the action, over to the backend, to the function, sorry. So this guy is going to be sent, the actual form is going to be sent, and then I can use it to validate if everything is okay. So we're going to jump over to this action now. This is the entire form. This is all you have to do to change the form. And you can look at yourself where you place this. I even added a small comment here. I'm going to do that from now on just to show where the tags are actually being added, just to help you guys out. So this is actually this line right here, and just notice how beautiful it is when I mouse over and when I remove stuff. You gotta love this material setup they made. It's just awesome. I love it anyway. Okay, back to the code. The other place we're going to make changes is in the controller, of course. So I added this code right here as well, and as you'll see again, there's not a lot of code. It's very, very simple because we have the full stack up and running now. Now it's very basic for us to make new features. You gotta love this. It's awesome. I added the code from here to here in tag version 2.1.14. Now the first thing I do is I always want to make sure I have a week plan. It might not be populated yet, but I want it to be there. So I start out by making an empty week plan. This is how you just make an empty object of new week plan on scope. That's all I do. And then I make the function that I just showed you that needs a form from the outside. And let's just go back to the HTML just to show you that again. Add week plan with the form, this form. Go back, add week plan, that's something on the scope, equals function, then the form. And then the first thing I'm doing before I'm doing anything is asking, is the form actually valid? If it's not valid, I'll be stopped right here, and I could actually down here say, execute error message, something went wrong. Just pop up a message saying there's something wrong. But the cool thing is that my validation is already running, so hopefully the user will watch it with his eyes and say, oh my god, it's red, there's something wrong, it says I need... Okay, you get the point. The first thing I do then is I set the new week plan to enable. Now if we go back to the model, there's actually on a week plan not a field right now called enabled. So let's we'll just add that right now, comma enabled. It's because I want to later no, let's not add it. Let's not add it. It doesn't matter. It won't. So the cool thing here is Mongoose would just ignore it right now, but later I will add the enable button because I want to be able to disable week plans. But I'll just let it be there for now. It doesn't matter. Mongoose will just say this property doesn't belong here, so I won't save it in the Mongo database, even though he said it's true. Okay, so just understand that the Mongoose schema will save us here. And then I add the syllabus to the week plans by saying current syllabus dot the array of week plans dot push. And there I add the specific week plan, the new week plan that I got in my scope. And then it's just like when we did the remove, the delete. It's just an update down here. So I do a syllabus service update, I add the ID, and the syllabus I want to update, of course, and then I return the syllabus that's been updated with an actual, I just set it. Those two are actually pretty important. They clear the form and they set it to untouched, meaning that it'll totally reset the form for you. And I spent a bit of time finding those, so you can use those if you want to. And then the last one is actually the toast here. So we've seen that it'll just pop up giving a message. So that's all. I'll save this, and now you can actually start adding week plans. So week 20 week. It's just refreshing the page. Sorry. Week 22 theme of Honky Dory. I don't even know if you can spell that way. And now you have the first week plan, and we can use our edit button, and everything is back and running.